Welcome to this second episode of Essential Skills for TDD. In this episode, I'll walk you through examples to illustrate problem domain analysis and solution domain analysis. So let's get started. Here is the problem statement. We want to sum a set of numbers. Okay, that's the problem statement. So let's do the problem domain analysis first. When you do this, you have to gain an understanding of what the problem is about. So in this case, given a set of numbers, some numbers, I want to sum them. So it's basically the result will be a number that will be adding the given numbers, which is 1, 2, and 7. That's it. So this is what is required, and this is given. So if we can sum this given set of numbers, we can return the result. That's the problem domain analysis, and we are done with the uh, this phase. So next, let's move on to solution domain analysis. This phase, you actually solve the problem. The problem domain analysis did not solve the problem, you only gained an understanding. Now when you do a solution domain analysis, you will actually solve the given problem. This problem is trivial, but I want to focus on the process of going about gaining an understanding of the given problem and actually solving the problem. So we can focus gaining the skills required to do problem domain analysis and solution domain analysis separately from each other. So let's say we have input and we have the output that's computed by our program. So we have an input which contains an empty list, let's say, and the result is going to be 0. And if the input is a set of just one number, we have the same number as the result. And if the input is given 1 and 2, the result will be the addition of those two. So here is the process. Process is adding those two given numbers. Here is we don't have anything to add. Here also we don't have anything to add. So it's just the same number. So it's just whatever, in this case it's empty, so we return 0. In this case we just return the same number that was returned. Here we actually create a sum of all the given numbers. Now let's take one more input, 3 numbers. In this case we have to add them all up, and the result is 8. So this is the sum of all these given numbers. So we have this result. Okay, now if you see, we have a data set which defines what the given input is, what the output should be, and here we are actually computing processing how we go about transforming the given input to the result. In this case we are summing everything, same thing goes here. So this is the end of the solution domain analysis phase, and you can see for each of this data what the output should be. So we have clearly defined what the output should be for this given set of inputs, and how we go about actually transforming the input to the output is also, we have some representation of it. Okay, so the next step would be, we can actually use this as part of the next thing we can do, which is creating the test cases. So we first have the degenerate case, which is the empty list. We handle the degenerate case, which is the easiest one to handle. Then we can handle a simple one element case. Then we can handle the case where we can extend the solution to two elements. And then I would assume that if we can do that, we can actually generalize the solution to any n elements. If you see, we are starting off with a very simple test case so that we can get the environment set up. You can have all the required statements in your RSpec environment, everything set up so it works. And then you can move on to a little bit more uh, complicated in the first case, and then we extend the solution to two elements, and we can then focus on generalizing it to n elements. So that's the test cases, and this is the sequence we will use when we write the test first to drive the development of the production code. So in this screencast, we saw how to do problem domain analysis. We took the problem statement, which was a description of the problem, and we created some diagrams, tables to understand uh, what the problem is. And we did not solve the problem, we just only represented, and we got an idea of what does the problem ask us to do. We gained an understanding of the problem domain. And the solution domain analysis is when we actually solve the problem. We saw the process of actually how we go about solving the given problem. So we created our own representation of how we can extend this to any number of elements, right? So the first phase we gained an understanding, and the second phase we actually solve the given problem, and we use what we got from the solution domain analysis for creating test cases. And we have a good idea of what should be the first test case, what should be the second test case, and what should be the final test case, which tells us, okay, we are done and we have satisfied the requirements and we have solved the problem entirely. So that's it for this episode. And in the next episode, I'll walk you through another example to illustrate this problem domain analysis and solution domain analysis.